as much as me.
4-H State O-Rama 2017, Scene 6, Take 348.
You have the talent. You have the desire. You are 4-H. Where we make the best better. But to be the best,
you cannot hide.
You gotta stand out from the crowd. Go a step further. Push a little harder. Drive failure from your head. Lead with your heart. Do more with your hands. Be strong in your health. This is the week to show the real you. Welcome to 2017 Arkansas 4-H State O-Rama. Masquerade. Unmask your potential.
Wow, that was pretty grand. What do you think about our videographers? It was a great pleasure to be asked to welcome you today. Long, long ago in ancient times in 1966, I went to my first 4-H competition as a junior, and 5 years later, I came to a state O-Rama and entered a competition. My memories are so vivid, it was like it was the other day. I remember the dances, I remember the carnivals, I remember being on a big college campus with cute college boys. I remember losing and winning competitions, and I remember losing the district vice president's race. There is a lot I thought I knew back then, but you know, maybe I didn't know so much. But what I know now and appreciate is I had two loving parents that assured that I was in 4-H and took me to practices and made sure that I was involved. I was in a county that had two caring 4-H agents, one named Carolyn Jennings and another one named Durwood Morgan. We called him Deadwood. He followed all the rules. And then I had a whole village of other adults, other people's parents, the 4-H specialists who watched me obtain my goals in my project area. I learned a whole lot more from losing. I also learned when I waited to the last minute to make my dress for the dress review that it didn't always come out so great. And I made friends at O-Rama. There are still friends and acquaintances today. I went to college and knew people because of 4-H. So I'm asking you to take it all in. Go to the dance, even though you think you got two left feet. Go to a movie. Try skating. Get on the basketball court. Go up to somebody you don't know and introduce yourself. I don't believe they're going to bite you. Get out of your comfort zone, because it is the confidence you are building in yourself through 4-H in this event that's going to be your greatest takeaway at the end of the week. So, unmask your potential. Thank you.
And now, introducing your 2016-2017 Arkansas 4-H State Officers. Cheyenne Gilliam broke the mold as Officer at Large. From Independence County, Cheyenne is the bad girl in the Animal Science Project area with an emphasis on goats. She's fearless when it comes to dance, cheer, and photography. Cheyenne Gilliam. Sarah Beth Toll shows us how an officer at large gets it done. This Prairie County powerhouse steps to the front of the class with leadership as her project area. Sarah Beth stays on top by reading, cooking, drawing, and rocking those pageants. Sarah Beth Toll. Lane Fritch is the officer at large and in charge. Coming from Benton County, Lane commands the stage in performing arts as her project area. A true Renaissance woman, you'll find Lane reading, working with horses, singing, or even at the shooting range. Lane Fritch. Ethan Parker is the vice president for all of you in the Ozark District. Another Benton County native, Ethan milks 4-H for all he can with his project area, dairy. Ethan can run, hunt, backpack, and even bake. Whoa, ladies. Ethan Parker. Mallory Perkins rules the Delta District as your vice president from Lono County. Mallory goes hog wild for her animal science project area, swine. There's no slowing down this VP. She spends her time cooking, dancing, and sewing. For good measure, she'll throw in some shooting sports and photography. Mallory Perkins. And your 2016-2017 Arkansas 4-H president, Mary Alice Cole. Izard County's first 4-H president, Mary Alice adds Selfie Queen to her title as she makes photography her project area. Photography and rodeo are her passions, and so is 4-H. Your president, Mary Alice Cole. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for your 2016-2017 Arkansas 4-H state officers.
Good afternoon, everyone. Oh, that was bad. Hello, how are we? That was great. I'm so honored to be here with you all this week. And I'm so ready to see all of you excel in your project areas, that you worked so hard to be here. I'm excited to see these 8 individuals come and stand before you today in hopes of obtaining a green jacket. And I'm so excited about that. But before we get started on this opening assembly, I would like to do a Snapchat. I guess since I'm at the selfie queen, we're gonna change it up a little bit, okay? So I need everybody to stand up. So I need a lot of participation with this, okay? Are we ready? Okay, so our theme this year is unmasking your potential, right? Okay, so from this side of the room, I need you to say unmasking. That was good, thank you. In the middle, unmasking my potential. Thank you so much. Okay, are we ready? Arkansas 4-H, I'm here at the opening ceremony, and I'm so excited because these kids are ready to unmask my potential. That was great. Thank you so much. I would like to call Jacob Cole and Katie Gardner up to the stage to say the Pledge of Allegiance and the 4-H pledge. Please remove all your hats and stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I pledge my head to clear thinking, my heart to greater loyalty, my hands to larger service, and my health to better living, for my club, my community, my country, and my world.
Thank you so much. I would now like to welcome Ethan Parker up to the stage.
All right, are we ready to make some noise?
All righty. We are now going to have the district roll call. The district that wins this will receive this nice big shiny trophy that will be kept in the 4-H Center at the display case right outside of the auditorium. So get ready to show us your 4-H spirit for each of your districts. Are we ready? Ozark District. Washita District. Delta District. Great job, everyone. Thank you for bringing your 4-H spirit. Now, Cheyenne Gilliam will come and give you some information about the week.
This year, there will be a donor dinner at the Awards of Excellence ceremony on Wednesday. If you're an advanced record book winner, general scholarship winner, or if you're a Governor's Award finalist, you will attend the donor dinner on Wednesday night at 5:30. A bus will pick you up at the O-Rama bus stop in front of Hotz Hall at 5 p.m. As for everyone else, you will eat in the cafeteria between 4:30 and 6 on Wednesday night. And everyone will attend the awards ceremony at 7:30 p.m. That will be held here in this room. You may walk or park in the parking deck beside the Arkansas Union. You will dress in business casual. Please do not wear jeans, t-shirts, or shorts. If your county wants to order pizza for Wednesday or Thursday night, please make sure that you place your order at the AAE 4HA table set up at the Maple Hill Courtyard on Tuesday from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. and Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Or there's a link on the O-Rama program to place your order. We're going to make a big statement on campus by wearing our State O-Rama shirts on Thursday, so be sure to show your 4-H spirit. Also, all ambassadors will need to wear their ambassador shirts to the closing assembly on Thursday. Now at this time, I would like to welcome Mary Alice back to the stage.
Would y'all like to win some great prizes this week? The College Career Fair and Bumpers College Picnic is at the Maple Hill Courtyard on Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Be sure to bring your passports that you all received in your county registration packet. And if you look, there's different colleges, and you can stamp them at all the different colleges that you go and see, and you put them in a blue box with a 4-leaf clover on it. And if you do that, then you have a chance to win a waterproof wireless Bluetooth speaker. Woo! Okay, so this week we've had some amazing sponsors. The Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas sponsored our social media prizes for this week, and I first would like to announce who the Traveling Picture Contest winner is. This individual posted on Instagram using both hashtags, and the hashtags for this year are hashtag unmask4H17 and hashtag Arkansas Electric Co-op. If you get confused, there's a flyer in your county registration packet. But the winner of this traveling photo contest is Jasmine Berryhill. You will win a mini fridge, and you can pick it up in the headquarters this week. So if you think that prize is good, there are so many amazing prizes this week. So tonight, starting at 6 p.m., the county or individual that posts the most creative county picture has the chance to win a 32-inch TV. You can post on Facebook, and you have to use both hashtags. And the winner will be announced tomorrow. So Wednesday, July 26th, at the Career Bumpers College, you know that if you do the passports, you will win a waterproof wireless Bluetooth speaker. But at the awards dinner starting at 5 p.m., if you post on Instagram and Facebook using both hashtags, then you have the chance to win, are you ready? A 43-inch smart TV. But you can also be tweeting throughout the week to win things like a $50 Best Buy gift card, a Fitbit Charge 2, or a Bluetooth headset. Yeah, that's awesome. So just a reminder, each and every one of you have signed the 4-H Code of Conduct, and everyone is expected to follow it. In the event that anyone has broken the Code of Conduct, a review board is in place to take care of the situation. If you have any questions, please watch the amazing Code of Conduct video that the video team put together. Can I have a round of applause for the video team? I mean, hello, they're kind of amazing. If you have any questions, watch that video. The link is on our website. And if you have any other questions, you can ask your county agent. Also, please follow us on all of our social media platforms for Arkansas 4-H. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. If you search Arkansas 4-H with no dash in between the 4 and the H, you can find us. Are we ready? I'm so excited. Every year, thousands of young women vie for the coveted title of Miss America. This past September, Savvy Shields from Fayetteville, Arkansas, wowed the judges with her charm and exceptional jazz dance performance to They Just Keep Moving the Line from the American drama series Smash, elevating her title of Miss America 2017. As Miss America, Savvy has embarked on a year of service that will take her on a national tour to address an array of audiences on her platform, Eat Better, Live Better, as well as serve as the National Goodwill Ambassadors for Children's Miracle Network Hospitals. Ladies and gentlemen, your Miss America 2017, Savvy Shields.
Hi. Hello. Hi. Can you hear me? Oh, perfect. Hi, everyone. Oh, I'm glad that the lights are on. I can actually see all your faces. How is everyone doing today? Oh, come on. I heard you like screaming back there. That was really wimpy, but you'll have time to redeem yourselves. Again, my name is Savvy Shields, and I am your current reigning Miss America this year for the next 48 days. I'm allowed to say that. Afterwards, I don't know, I guess I can't get fired, but I'll get in trouble if I keep saying that. But I'm so excited to be here. Some of you may know, and some of you know, that I'm from Arkansas, but I went to this university. And so someone was even asking me, is it weird to come back and do appearances and speak at your university? And it's very strange and very weird. I feel very out of place, and I feel like I get on my nervous facial tics of, I think that a project's due or something like that. But today, what I want to talk to you all about is I want to share a few stories of my year. A lot of people don't necessarily know what the job of Miss America is. And so I want to tell you all a little bit about my job, and I also want to tell you all just kind of my story and the things that I wish I knew in becoming Miss America. So this is literally the very first thing I ask in every speech that I give, but did any of you all watch the pageant this year? Sweet, awesome, love it. I was there too. It was a whole lot of fun. But what y'all did not see, so it was like around 2 hours, right? Oh, hello. So it was around 2 hours. But what you didn't see was 10 years of preparation for that night. And so I'll get to a little bit more about my story, but I always like sharing, I guess I'll tell you a little bit, then I'll share the stories because they're really funny. But when I was 13 years old, I competed in the Miss Arkansas Outstanding Teen system. And to my shock and awe, and I think the state's shock and awe, I became Miss Teen Arkansas when I was 13 years old. So for a year, I traveled the state, and I watched my Miss Arkansas do the job. And I watched how she impacted and influenced an entire state, and I wanted to do the exact same thing. So I waited for a very, very long time. I knew that it was a full-time job that I needed to be mentally, emotionally, spiritually mature enough to handle. And so I waited until my junior year of college, when for some reason I felt ready enough to compete. And so last October, I competed in Miss Heart of the Ozarks. Wow, I'm so sorry. I keep doing those shoulder movements and it's blaring in your ears. Miss Heart of the Ozarks, and the next most disciplined and intense 10 months happened. And then I became your Miss Arkansas, and then that night was put on an airplane to DC for Miss America orientation, and then a couple weeks later went to Atlantic City for 2 weeks, where I competed with 52 other women who are now some of my greatest friends. And then that night that we all hung out and saw each other happened. And what people don't know really is what happens after TV night. So for the last, I guess it's 10 and a half months, I've been in a different state on average every 48 hours. I live out of my 2 very overweight suitcases, and I have the craziest and greatest job in the entire world. And so I want to tell you all 3 stories that kind of not sum up, but are just really, really fun, selfishly, for me to tell out loud, because I love them. So, and if you've already heard them, please just laugh with me again. It makes me feel a lot better about myself. So the very first story I'm going to tell you happened in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Okay, so I was there for a Walmart thing, and I was in a grocery store talking about my platform, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But I was in crown gear, and this grandmother starts running up to me, and she starts bawling her eyes out, which is pretty normal when you have a crown on. So I was like, we're gonna get through this, it's okay, I'm not that cool, trust me, we're gonna be okay. And so she continues to cry, and she grabs a hold of my shoulders, and she tells me, you don't understand. My daughter just gave birth to her daughter last night, and we named her after you. So then I start crying, and then the lady's telling me, we're bringing her out of the hospital, she's coming here right now. And I'm like, ma'am, your granddaughter is not 24 hours old. Let me come to you. And so we went to the hospital. Some TV crews heard about it, and if I'm being honest, I was really nervous. And before we walked into the door, I stepped in, and Savvy's mom was there, her whole fam bam. They were all dressed up, and she's holding baby Savvy. And so I walk over, and I'm like, hi. And then she places baby Savvy into my arms. And as she places this 24-hour-old child into my arms, this rush of responsibility fills up my whole soul. And I'm thinking to myself, when do we start pageants? Do I need to tell her now that she's going to the University of Arkansas? Do I have to send birthday cards every year? I'm trying to think of all the things that I have to be a part of. And it was the most Twilight Zone moment of my entire year, because never in 1,000 years did I think I'd be holding the child that I was named after. But for an update, Savvy went to her first dentist appointment last month, and she's really, really cute. She looks like a little Barbie doll. But another funny story, actually happened here in Arkansas. It happened in Little Rock. Any of y'all from Little Rock? Oh, y'all are not that proud to be from Little Rock. Come on! What was that? Furthermore, so I was in Little Rock, I was at the governor's mansion, and there was this beautiful event, and everyone was dressed up. I was dressed up, I was in crown gear, and I was walking to my dressing room to change into something else. I'm not really sure what else, but I was changing to another dress for that night, and as I was walking back, I heard from behind me a woman scream, "Hey, you." So I prepare myself, and I start to turn around. But as I turned around, the woman goes, "Huh." And so I say, "I'm sorry, excuse me?" And she goes, "Oh, I'm so, so sorry." And she starts apologizing. And she's like, "I'm so sorry. I thought you were Miss America." And so I start moving my hand towards my crown, and I'm like, "Ma'am?" I was like, I am Miss America, at least I think I am right now. And she goes, "Oh, well, you look different." And I'm thinking to myself, I don't edit my pictures that much. There should not be this much of a disconnect right now. And so after about 5 minutes of me continually trying to persuade her that I am who I am and that this crown is real life on my head, she finally agrees to me, and she goes, "Oh, well, then let's get a picture." It was one of the funniest. I wish more than anything, that I had it on video. But I'm also nervous every time I tell that story, because I'm afraid that I'm gonna meet her again someday. And I'm gonna tell her, I've used that story every time I've spoke. And so prayers 2K17. But more often than that, and more often than these really hilarious moments and really outrageous moments, are very serious ones and are very tender moments that make me remember why I do it. So just like you were so kindly introducing me, she said that this year I am the National Goodwill Ambassador for Children's Miracle Network Hospitals. Now, we have one in Little Rock. You people that were not that excited, you have a children's hospital, woot woot. But we're also getting one here in Northwest Arkansas. And so, yeah, there's some enthusiasm. Goodness. Furthermore, what my job is and what my job has been was I get to go directly into hospitals across the country. So I get to hang out with kids and go room to room to room and just hang out with them. And they're some of the wisest, most courageous, and loving human beings, let alone just kids, but human beings that I know. And so one of my days, I was in Denver, Colorado, and I walked into this hospital, but it was my very last room for the day, very last room. And I got to the room, and there's this young boy there. He was in a wheelchair, and his name was Chase. And he had blonde hair, and he was around 8 years old, and he had these really dreamy blue eyes. But he and I talked for about 15 minutes through his iPad. So he couldn't talk, but he talked to me for a really long time, and he was telling me, his dog's names, what his favorite colors were, what his hobbies were, what he, how long he'd been in the hospital for, and he continued to tell me that today was the day that he was going to try and take his very first steps. So I asked Chase, I was like, Chase, is it okay if I stay? Is it okay if I stay to watch you take your first steps? And he said, all right. And I asked his dad was there, and he said, all right as well. And the dad got out his camera, to film for Mom. And they put Chase, and I'm trying to describe as best I can, but they put Chase on this treadmill like apparatus that was facing the back of the wall. And so they harnessed Chase in, and they were holding him up, and there was 2 nurses on either side of him, and they placed him facing the wall. And the treadmill started going, quite slowly at first, and then he started taking these first steps. And we couldn't hear anything because he couldn't talk, but we just started hearing him laugh. And then when he turned around, he smiled the biggest smile, and it was the most joy I'd seen radiate from a human being in my entire life. And I just lost it. And I started bawling my eyes out for a number of reasons. One, how ridiculous is it that we forget how much of a gift it is that we can walk, and that we take that from a very young age. But also, I realized again in that moment how important it is to be a part of something much greater than yourself, and how unbelievably important it is, especially today in this age. I feel like we have a duty almost to be a part of something. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. I'm going to jump real quick. When I decided that I wanted to compete in this organization, and when I decided I wanted to compete to be Miss Arkansas and Miss America, I want to say that a very huge part of me wanted that because I was very insecure. And I was trying so hard to find a sense of validation that I didn't need to be. See you in pageants, you are pretty enough. See you in pageants, you are smart enough. See you in pageants, you are successful enough, fill in the blank. And I wanted so badly for a type of validation that I was seeking from external forces. And it took me a very long time to kind of shake that thought process and realize that, yes, those insecurities are there, and us don't necessarily ever think that they leave, but the way that we approach them and handle them can be. And I say that because whenever I started gearing up to compete as a Miss, and especially in this year as Miss America, one of the biggest things that I've learned in this process is we find ourselves and we define ourselves not by who others say we are, not how many Instagram likes we have, not what our shell looks like, but who we say we are and what we want to be a part of and what we claim ourselves as. I was saying a little bit earlier, I think now, especially in this day and age, we have a duty to be a part of something greater than ourselves. We are each given gifts. I'm a very firm believer in that. And we are each given these gifts to very cheesily be a light and to love people. I'm not saying pageants are my gifts, but I'm saying loving people is one of the things that I love to do best. we have to find things that set our soul on fire and run with it. A life without passion, and in a very, kind of over-dramatic way, but in a very real way, tends to be a life without magic. And there becomes a lot of confidence, there becomes a lot of purpose in finding something that you love to do and finding something that you find yourself good at and running with it and being a light and being a love and loving people with it. And that's exactly what you all here are learning and experiencing. And how cool is that to experience that at a young age? To find ways to meet new people across your state, interact with different people, talk about different things, and find out what your gifts are or what you want them to be. I think very often in this social media age, we sometimes feel like we have to live up to the expectation of our own Instagram feeds, or that we have to live up to the expectation of everyone else's highlight reel when all we know are our backstage. And it's so important to recognize that the way that we handle our problems or our struggles or our insecurities or our doubts that we have lead us into the way that we can find our gifts and find what kind of legacy that we want to leave after this. Y'all are hitting a very exciting and very crucial point in our lives, where you're going to be going to this next phase where, not to sound in a very scary way, but it sets a path for the next course of your life. And that's exciting. Don't let that be scary. Let that be liberating, to see and to know that you can choose now what kind of human being that you want to be and what kind of human being that you want to become. I say all of these really cheesy things, A, because I'm an art major and I feel a lot of things, but B, being Miss America and seeing so much life go on, I've recognized in myself the things that I wish I knew 5 years ago and the things that I wish I knew going into this year. I'm thankful to have learned them, but I wish I'd learned them earlier as well. And so again and again, I'm excited that I'll get to have, I think, a little moment to take pictures with you guys, and I'm excited to get to meet you all. But first and foremost, remind yourselves and take this week as an example to set the precedent of being a part of something bigger than yourself and finding out what sets your soul on fire and running with it. Thank you all very, very much for letting me talk to you and for listening to me so very attentively and being very enthusiastic for the city of Little Rock. But it has been wonderful. I'm so excited to be home. I love representing you, and I hope and I pray that I have made you all proud this year and for the next 48 days as well. So much love. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Savvy, for your service this year and coming to speak to us today. Let's give our Miss America 2017 another round of applause. State 4-H officer elections are a very important part of State O-Rama. 4-H officers have the responsibility to represent Arkansas 4-H throughout the year at many events that they take their jobs very seriously. We are about to hear from our state officer candidates. You will vote at Maple Hill South, room 145, I do believe, on Thursday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Remember that there are only offices for state office, and the state 4-H president will be elected from those state officers that you elect. Those interested in being your next state 4-H president will have gone through an interview process, and they will help determine who will be your next state 4-H president. This year, we have 8 candidates and 4 positions to fill. So be sure to vote for 4, no more and no less. The candidates will give their speeches in the order that they will appear on the ballot. First to the stage is Sagely Burnett from Washington County.
Walt Disney once said, "All of your dreams can come true if you have the courage to pursue them." Hello, I'm Sagely Burnett from Washington County. My dream ever since I was a little girl was to be a leader, and today my dream is within reach. I'm dedicated, experienced, and most importantly passionate about Arkansas 4-H and making the best better. I'm dedicated. I've been in 4-H for 12 years, and if I could be, I'd be in for 12 more. I enjoy helping people find their potential, and the past year alone have dedicated hundreds of hours to service projects. I love teaching and really connect with people from all over the state. I'm experienced. I have held leadership positions in the club, county, and state levels. In the beginning, I hated speaking in front of crowds. I would break down in tears, and all I wanted to do was run away and hide. But here I am today in front of all of you, and there are no tears in sight. I am passionate. There is no other way to put it. I love 4-H, and I'm passionate about it. 4-H has taken me places and taught me invaluable life lessons. Because of 4-H, I have friends from Puerto Rico to Hawaii, places I've never even been. 4-H helps me dream beyond what I can do on my own. Many of you have probably watched one of the latest Disney movies, Moana. Moana is a story of a girl who has to travel across the ocean to save her world. I am Moana. In fact, we're all Moana, traveling across our ocean called life. In that movie, Moana asks a very important question. How far can I go? When she realizes the ocean is vast and the possibilities are endless, she can go anywhere. She had the courage to lose sight of the shore, and she not only discovers herself, but also her true potential. Moana is unique because Moana travels out a very important piece of equipment. Moana doesn't use a compass. Unlike Moana, I have a compass. 4-H is my compass. 4-H can take you as far as you want to go, and it will always lead you in the right direction. 4-H has taken me to being a state advanced record book winner and going to National 4-H Congress in Atlanta, Georgia. 4-H has taken me to 4 national contests, and I'm going to another one in the fall. You could say I'm on the right path with 4-H. Yes, my dream of being a leader is within reach. Look how much farther I can still go. Not only me, look how much farther you can go. See the line where the sky meets the sea, it calls me, and no one knows how far it goes. If the wind in my sail on the sea stays behind me, until I know how far I'll go. So join me on this journey to go farther than others that have before us. When you're at the polls, remember, Sagely will help you go farther.
Thank you so much, Sagely. Next, we will have Kimberly Kay from Benton County.
Failure is not fatal. Success is not final. It is the courage to continue that counts. Hello, my name is Kimberly Kay, and I am an 18-year-old member of Benton County 4-H. You may recognize me as the girl who came up here and talked about robots last year, or from one of the many activities we've probably participated in throughout my 4-H career. Although last year I didn't receive a green jacket, I received a year to concentrate on myself. As 4-Hers, we always try to make the best better, and sometimes that means ourselves. Throughout this year, I've been able to obtain new and unique leadership opportunities that have grown me as a leader and as a person, including getting to serve on student government on my college campus. I could stand up here and I could give you a list of the qualifications, achievements, and awards that have made me that I've earned throughout my 4-H career. But that's not what makes a great state officer or a great leader. A great state officer and a great leader is someone who is passionate about 4-H. So let me share with you a little bit about where my passion comes from in my 4-H journey. I started 4-H when I was 5 years old in the state of California. A few years later, my family moved to Texas, where I was a junior 4-Her, and 6 years ago, I began my Arkansas 4-H journey. Throughout my life, my family had moved over 12 times. It didn't matter what city, county, or state we lived in, we always joined a 4-H club. And what I found was 4-H was my home. 4-H was my second family. When I was around 4-Hers, I instantly felt safe and found friends who have become some of my most cherished friends and created lifelong memories. 4-H has given me the tools to build me to who I am today and who I will continue to be. I'm not standing up here because I want a title or a green jacket, although they do look nice, right? But I want to represent you, Arkansas 4-Hers. I want to show others how amazing Arkansas 4-H is and what it's done for us and what it can do for them. I want to share my passion for 4-H with others. So, when voting for your next Arkansas State 4-H Officer at Large, vote with a passion and vote for Kimberly Kay.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. Next to the stage is Mallory Perkins from Lonoke County.
So, good afternoon, State O-Rama.
I am so glad we don't have to give these speeches in the morning because I am definitely not a morning person, and those of you who have dealt with me in the mornings know that. Hi, my name is Mallory Perkins. I'm 18 years old, and I'm from Lonoke County. You may be wondering why I'm dressed like this, and the reason is, like most of you, sleep is essential to my well-being, but it also doesn't represent sleep. It represents my 4-H story. The eye mask represents how I unmask my potential to be a good leader in 4-H. The onesie represents how I'm the only onesie for you. The cover represents how I'm covered in 4-H spirit, and the pillow shows that I will support the Arkansas 4-H program. A wise man once said, "There's a time for many words and a time to go to sleep." So now that I've said many words, I think it's time to go to sleep now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mallory. Next, we will have Noah Luke Smith from Faulkner County.
Okay, had to get set up there right quick. Well, who all is excited for State O-Rama? Very good. That's what I like to hear. I'm Noah Luke Smith from Faulkner County. I'm 17 years old. I've been in 4-H for 7 years, and I want to be one of your next state officers. Well, you might ask, what does it take to be a great state officer? Well, take these bowling shoes, for instance, I got here. And I've worn these bowling shoes to many bowling tournaments, just like I've been to many 4-H competitions. To just name a few: parliamentary procedure team, poultry judging team, and grassland evaluation team. Being on these teams, I've learned the importance of teamwork and dedication, and I'll bring these skills to the state officer team. Next is my bowling wrist brace. The bowling wrist brace gives me support and keeps me rolling this. I'll get it on first. Keeps me rolling the ball smoothly. Just like I think it's very important to keep things rolling smoothly as a state officer, and I have experience in keeping things rolling smoothly by helping to plan and conduct several different 4-H workshops, all from STEM, livestock camps, and team leader conference, and helping to plan and conduct 6 different Cloverbud and junior camps. Last and most important piece of equipment is the bowling ball. Alrighty, come on, ball, go get them. Come on, go get them pins. Well, I guess he's not going to do it today. We're going to have to help him out here. Well, you just can't take the ball out of the bag and set it on the lane. You have to lead it in the right direction. Just like I'll lead Arkansas 4-H in the right direction through my experience of being vice president of the Hoof, Spurs, and Furs 4-H show team, vice president of the Faulkner County Team Leaders, and president of the Cloverleaf 4-H Club and Hoof, Spurs, and Furs 4-H show team. Well, just look at a compass here. Well, here we go. There we go. All right, N stands for Noah Luke, and S stands for Smith. So vote Noah Luke Smith to lead Arkansas 4-H in the right direction to get a strike. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Noah Luke. Next, we will have Lane Fritch from Benton County.
$525,600 minutes, 525,000 moments, oh dear. 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year?
A year has passed since I last stood on this stage, and I cannot express to you how fast the time has gone by. My name is Lane Fritch. I'm from Benton County, and I'm asking you to vote for me as one of your next state officers. Oh, my phone's ringing. Who could be calling me? Oh, it's my grandma. I better answer this. Hey, Grandma. I'm good. How are you? Good. What am I doing? Well, actually, I'm on stage at State O-Rama giving my campaign speech. I just told them my name when you called. No, Grandma, I didn't tell them that. I guess I can. My grandma wants me to tell you that I'm named after a bull rider, Lane Frost from the movies 8 Seconds, but sometimes she gets me mistaken for the bull rider. Okay, I told him, Grandma. Yes, Grandma, even though I've been very busy this summer, I've stayed very active with my church, my shooting sports, my music, my family, and my various leadership roles through the county and state. Well, Grandma, I better let you go and finish up this campaign speech, but I'll call you later and give you more details about my summer. Okay, I love you. Bye. Sometimes the unexpected happens, kind of like my grandma calling in the middle of my campaign speech. As a leader, we need to know how to take on the unexpected. That's why one of my favorite things that I've done in 4-H is the True Colors personality test, because I know no matter what I do, I'm going to come across different personalities. And to make the job go more effective, I need to know how to take on these personalities. But my number one favorite thing in 4-H, above all, is you. Yes, you. No matter if you're my friend, an acquaintance, or maybe have never met me before, you guys have inspired me to make my best better by changing what needed to be changed and doing what needed to be done. So when you're voting later, vote for Lane Fritch, because I knew you. I have been changed for good. Thank you.
Thank you, Lane. Next, we will have Leah Smith from Prairie County.
Hi, guys. So like she said, my name is Leah Smith, and I'm from Prairie County. I'm 17 years old, and excuse me if I cough. Okay, so you might all be slightly concerned why I'm carrying a frying pan or not wearing shoes. Well, how many of you have seen Tangled? Well, Tangled is my absolute favorite Disney movie of all time. And Rapunzel and I have quite a few things in common. First off, we've both never ever cut our hair. Second, and most importantly, we have very important goals. Her goal was to see the floating lanterns gleam, and mine is to serve all of you wonderful people as one of your next state officers. We are willing to do whatever it takes, whether it means escaping from a tower or getting up here to speak to all of you. But it doesn't mean we'll have challenges. Rapunzel had to escape her mother, and I had to get here. My flight landed at 12 this morning in Little Rock, and I got 4 hours of sleep. But I'm so glad I'm here to see all of you. And third, we both have a really cool horse and really cool friends in green. Hers, of course, is the really cute chameleon, Pascal, and mine, well, my friends in green are all of you wonderful people. And I would really love the honor to serve all of you as one of your next state officers. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aaliyah. Next, we will have Allison Sellers from Faulkner County.
Oh no! Slick Willie's at it again! Where is that pig? Hi, my name is Allison Sellers, and I'm from the small town of Valonia, Arkansas, in Faulkner County. From the time I was born, I've always been interested and involved in the agriculture industry. From riding horses by the time I was able to sit up, to showing livestock and giving as many prepared speeches as possible. However, this love and passion didn't just happen upon me. It has been driven within me through impactful leaders, educational experiences, camps, and opportunities offered through 4-H. One of my fondest memories from my show career happened my first year showing pigs. I was 10 years old, striving to be the best junior swan showman in the state of Arkansas. However, that would be a little hard to accomplish, considering my pig, Slick Willie, always found a way to get out of his pen. Therefore, it only seemed natural for me to call Superman for help, which, of course, was my pawpaw. So without any hesitation, my pawpaw arrived for my assistance, and I directed him to Slick Willie, who was in the backyard rooting up my mom's garden. So without any delay, my pawpaw began staring him down, face to face, eye to eye, just like a good old Western duel. When all of a sudden, Slick Willie left with no option other than to chase him down. My newly bought, untrained pig was effortlessly getting away from Superman, my pawpaw. So without any delay, my pawpaw leaped through the air, just like Superman does, hands straight out in front of him, and his white t-shirt flapping in the wind just like his cape, and his cowboy boots looking way cooler than any red rubber pair of superhero boots. Just to fall to the ground at the perfect angle to grab the short, stubby hind legs of my new pig. I found that it is through these experiences that I've developed a disciplined work ethic, a driven attitude, and a passion for impacting others. Recently, I was able to serve as a camp leader to new 4-H members outside of my home county. This opportunity allowed me to share my experiences with others, as well as the impact 4-H has made on me, and the opportunities it has to offer for all ages. Some questions I always ask myself when working with any 4-H member includes, what can I do to leave a positive mark on not only the participants, but on those around me? What can I do to make the best even better? Please vote for me, Allison Sellers, as your next Arkansas State Officer, leading this wonderful organization through a powerful work ethic, a driven attitude, and enthusiasm, just as I did with Slick Willie. Thank you.
Thank you, Allison. Next, we will have Laci Smith from Lone Oak.
Wilbur. Okay, so Miss America was here, but that doesn't mean you gotta worship the ground she was on. That works, okay. My name's Laci Smith. I'm from Lone Oak County, and I've been in 4-H for about 8 years. If you know me, you know I talk about 4-H everywhere. School, I'm homeschooled. At home, homeschooled. 4-H, and at church. Something you might not know is that I love Charlotte's Web. So while I'm here, let me introduce my friends. Wilbur, who made his grand entrance trying to worship the ground Miss America was on. And Charlotte, who's working on something that you'll see in a minute. Charlotte's Web is one of my favorite books and movies. It reminds me so much about 4-H. Let me explain. The words that Charlotte used are words that could describe a good 4-H leader. Some pig. You don't have to be a pig to be a good leader, because obviously we've had great state officers in the past, and I don't think they're pigs, right? Okay. Some pig can mean that Wilbur was special. He was different. He had talent. In order to be a good 4-H leader, you gotta have talent to do what you do. 4-H has given me talent by letting me lead songs and crafts in my clubs and camps that we have. 4-H has taught me to be some leader. The second word Charlotte used was terrific. Terrific means really good and extremely great. You gotta be really good to be a 4-H leader, right? By going to different citizenship and leadership workshops, 4-H has taught me to be terrific. The third word Charlotte used was radiant. You gotta be happy, ecstatic. 4-H has taught me to be ecstatic or radiant by being president of the sewing club, reporter of the teen leader club, and treasurer in the shooting sports club. 4-H has taught me to be radiant. The last word Charlotte used was humble. Humble means you're not proud of yourself. You realize that you need teamwork. And by letting me be a part of so many different teamwork stuff in my club, 4-H has taught me to be humble. So overall, 4-H has taught me to be the terrific, radiant, humble leader that I need to be in order to be one of your next state officer at large. So I think Charlotte is done with her thing. So before I leave, vote for me, Laci Smith, as one of your next state officers at large. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Laci. Let's give another round of applause for all of our state officer candidates. They have done an excellent job on their speeches and taking on a new challenge to strengthen their leadership skills. Remember, to only vote for 4 candidates. You may only vote once. This year, again, you can only vote in Maple Hill South, room 145, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Thursday. There are signs set up in the courtyard to show you the way. Be sure and thank the staff from the Washington County Clerk's Office for bringing the machines and helping you vote. Now at this time, I would like to welcome Sarah Toll to the stage to introduce your next speaker.
Our keynote speaker today is a decorated veteran Army officer who has trained tens of thousands of soldiers. He's an outdoor enthusiast, fly fisherman, and backpacker who's came so close to a bear that it's actually sniffed the back of his head. Fred has spoken to tens of thousands of students throughout the country and internationally, helping to take command of their lives and to help lead others. He is a best-selling author whose talk today is based on the success strategies found in his book, Basic, the Student Leadership Field Manual, which will be available for purchase after the program. I'm super excited for this, so I say, let's give an Army veteran and motivational speaker, Fred Grooms, the craziest, loudest, and longest welcome we have ever given anyone. Seriously, let's stand and welcome Fred Grooms.
I appreciate that. What I need everybody to do is stay standing. Don't sit down. You've been sitting now for a little over an hour, so I want you to stand up. We're going to participate in one large group exercise. We are going to participate in a military mark time march. So what I'm going to ask you to do here in just a moment is to, on the command of march, to step off on your left foot. That is your left foot, and then it will be left, right, left, right, left. I will call out a cadence and you will respond. Hopefully you will respond loudly, because loud is more fun, and 2, it covers up all of the mistakes we made. So I'm pretty sure that you can do this. No practice. We're going to start. What I need you to do is I need you to put your feet together, heels together, 45-degree angle, hands along your sides, shoulders back, head up. But wait. I'm going to slide on my old school Army Ranger Patrol cap just to be in the mood. Put your hands along your side. 4-H. Forward. Hooch. Left. 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 Right. Left. Right. Left. Right. Left. Here we go all the way. Here we go all the way. Gotta be ready to go. Ready to go every day. All the way every day. Leadership's the life for me. There's nowhere else I'd rather be than here making history. Than here making memories. Leadership's the life for me. Detail, halt. round of applause. Go ahead and have a seat. Thank you all very, very much for participating. I tell you what, I've done that with groups of a couple dozen and as many as 5,500. And you guys did an outstanding job staying in step. It's usually the first row gets out of step and I get tickled and start to laugh. And then I just can't even do my job sometimes. And then I crash and burn and we start over, and it's always a lot of fun. So thank you very much. Also, I want to say thank you very much for inviting me back to my home state of Arkansas. I actually live in South Carolina now, but my family is from Batesville, Arkansas. Anybody up that way? Woo! Are you all actually from Batesville? Well, my dad was the valedictorian of his high school class in Batesville. My grandfather used to own the laundry in town. My grandfather most likely had a key to your grandparents' house. He had these 3 big brass rings, and he had a key to just about everybody's home because he owned the laundry, he and his brother-in-law, and he delivered the clean clothes to the house. It was back in the day when everybody, for the most part, used to leave the doors unlocked. But he had to have a key just in case somebody locked the door. And if he went up to a house where the door wasn't open, he could pull out one of those brass rings and go, shh, 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 shh. Grab that key, put it in the door, and open it up. Now, mind you, there's nothing in there but little spacers. He knew everybody's house. Maybe it's a little creepy to know that now. My grandpa may have been skulking around in the house that you live in Batesville. But my mom and dad met in Batesville. My mom moved there when she was little. They got married. My great-grandfather was born out in the Hardy area in a log cabin. And he served in the U.S. Cavalry. My grandfather served in World War II. My dad is a Vietnam veteran. My brother is a veteran of the Army. I am a veteran of the Army. So patriotism has a tendency to come naturally to us. And I'm really excited to continue to be here because so much of what I learned in my life when I was young happened right here in Arkansas. Whether it was learning that chickens do bite, peck, scratch, whatever you want to call it. They're not nice creatures. The eggs are lovely, but not such nice creatures. I learned to fish and camp along the White River. And now there are sections of it that are like pristine fly fishing stuff. I'm a fly fisherman, and that's amazing to me that I was able to do that when I was a kid. I learned to garden, and I learned that not everything is in a row, especially when I was weeding one day and hoeing. The things that are in a mound that they call squash aren't supposed to be hoed. My grandmother was not happy that I weeded the mounds. I'm like, everything else is a row, and these mounds, it's not fair. So it's great to be back, and I am here today specifically to teach and work with you guys about doing some work with leadership. Wow, this is funny. And so leadership is something that everybody is going to participate in. Everybody is going to be a leader. It's natural. It is what we do. It is inevitable. And the thing is that leadership, even though you want to run from it, you're not going to be able to. It will find you. Who here has a brother or a sister? Look at all those hands up. Guess what? You are a leader. Because they're paying attention to you. If you got a younger brother or sister, they are watching you. And they want to be like you. Whether you like the fact that they want to be like you or not, it doesn't really matter. They want to be like you. And because of that, you need to understand that how you behave and how you get through your life makes a difference. It absolutely makes a difference. Now, there is no lack of interest in leadership in our society at all. If you go and do an Amazon book search on leadership, you're going to find 340,000 books on leadership. There are over 1,000 new titles a month on the subject of leadership. I know I've written a couple of those books. But there is an intense amount of interest in leadership because there's this thing that's called the leadership gap. The leadership gap is the gap between those who are being led, who are our leaders right now, and those who will be leading us in the future, and that's all of you guys. You guys are our future leaders. Here's the thing. In just 25 years, 45% of everyone who has a job right now is going to retire. They're going to retire. 45% of the jobs are going to become open. That's an awful lot of opportunity for everybody in this room. Now, some of those jobs will go away as people retire, but here's another cool thing. Somewhere between 25 and 35% of all the jobs that will be available in the next 15 years don't even exist right now. Think about drones. 8 years ago, drones was a $500,000 a year business. Multi-million-dollar year business now, and will be a billion-dollar business by the end of 2018. We didn't know what a drone was a few years ago. That is going to explode, and it's going to continue. And that gives you an insane amount of opportunity if you're willing to step up and lead, because others won't. And that's one of the key things, is that you do actually have to step up and lead. Now, I teach military leadership. And the reason why I teach military leadership and that model leadership is because I believe it is the model that takes seemingly average young men and women and turns them into the highest quality leaders at younger ages than any other leadership model. Another thing is the military does something that corporations absolutely do not. The military assumes that you are a leader when you walk in the door. You will be leading other people in the military, or you will not be successful. So we assume that you are a leader until you prove otherwise. And then when you prove that you're not leading so well, we then ask you to train up, and we work towards you being a better leader. And if you begin to fail as a leader, then we'll train you some more. And if you can't do it, we'll ask you to find another job. Because we need you to lead. And that's no different than being in 4-H and being at home and being in your school. We need you to step up and lead because others won't. Now, I teach that military model of leadership in an acronym called BASIC. And BASIC stands for behavior, attitude, skill, integrity, and choice. And today I'm going to talk about each one of those, but I want to bring out 3 very specific elements within BASIC. I'm going to talk about what it means to be under command before you can be in command. I'm going to talk about resiliency, and I'm going to talk about the fact that you are an expert. Every single person in this room is an expert. I truly believe that. And because I believe that, I want to spend a good amount of time on that. And because everybody in here has something special to offer. Again, I need you to step up and lead because others won't. I want everybody to say behavior. Everybody say behavior. Outstanding. Behavior. What you do matters as you lead yourself and others. It just absolutely does. Your grandma was right. People pay more attention to what you do than what you say. Let's do it together. People pay more attention to what you do than what you say. You guys are awesome. I love that. Nice and loud. People are going to watch you very, very closely. I mentioned your younger brothers and sisters. They want to be like you. They want to watch you. And as you begin to go into leadership position, you have to realize that how you act matters. The way you lead your group the tone is going to be set by your outward behavior. You can't go out and get freaky on the weekends and come back and try to leave your group on Monday morning because people are going, I know what you did last weekend. I heard. Because I wasn't there. I was smart enough not to be there. But everybody else is talking about you. And we know it happens. So you have to figure out how to get control of yourself. You have to be able to have self-leadership. And that starts with understanding this concept. And it's a lost concept in our society today, that in order to be in command, you must first learn to come under command. In order to be in command, you must first learn to come under command. If you want to be the person in charge, calling the shots, making the big decisions, taking all the creative activities, putting them together, making the big bucks, you first have to learn that there is a system, and it's called leadership. Leadership is a system. It's a process. And as much as we want to think that when we become leaders that somehow everybody's just going to do whatever we say, that we get to jump in and have a position, it's not the way it works. Everybody starts out at a lower level and then moves up. Very seldom does anybody really jump into some sort of gigantic position. We think that we just want to be in charge, but it doesn't typically happen that way. So to learning to be in command by learning to be under command is often a difficult concept, because at this point in our lives, what you guys want more than anything is your independence. No, you don't. You think you do. But here's the thing is, the definition of independence is the absence of support. The absence of support. Now, I do want you to be independent. I want you to be able to tie your shoes, go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, right? Work, graduate high school, go get you a job, and move out of my basement and never come back. Stay away. That's the kind of independence I want for you. And all the adults are going. You know, there may be some neck braces we got to get out. All right? But independence is a thing that we need. There's some things that we need to be independent about. But what we are really seeking is this thing called interdependence. You take your independence and I take my independence and we put them together and we become interdependent. I have things that I can do that you can't do. You have things that you can do that I can't do. We bring a whole bunch of those people together and we call it a community. And we get all sorts of stuff done. Because we all have strengths and we all have weaknesses. Every single one of us. And we have to figure out how to work through that. Now, I totally understand when somebody comes in and says, you have to give up the very same thing that you think you're looking for. I mean, when I was your age, if some old fat bald guy followed the beauty queen, come on, what was that about? Couldn't I have gone first? Oh, sidebar. How awesome is she? Yay! It's America. But when I was your age, all I wanted was independence. And for me, independence meant money. The more money I made, the more independent I believed I was. So I started with a paper route when I was 16 years old. And then one summer, on top of the paper route, I baled hay. Who's baled hay? Right? Like the bales, like in the field, hooks, right? Oh my gosh. Worst thing ever. Baling hay. Hot. Oh my goodness. But I was about making money. I took a paper route. I made it larger. I made it larger again, and I made it larger again. I was subcontracting my paper route by the time I was 15 years old. I was an entrepreneur. I was always making money. But all the things I did to make money was at the expense of my high school education. My parents and school administrators sat me down after the first 6 or 9 weeks of my junior year, and they explained to me if I kept going right like I was going to fail out of high school. Now, I was not really interested in failing out of high school because my independence was all about money. Well, if I failed out of high school, I knew that my opportunity to grow my independence of money was going to be significantly impacted. Now, see, I didn't like school, and school didn't like me. See, school was about sit down, be quiet, listen, and learn. And all I wanted to do was stand up, talk, show you how much I knew, and how brilliant I was. I did not fit in well. I have a December birthday. December birthdays. Woo, awesome. Anybody December 12th? Hey, woo, 12-12. I have a t-shirt for you. There you go. It's the one I'm wearing. It's not like the one you know, but no, I'm just kidding. So I have a December birthday, so that means that I met that cutoff for school, so that made me a little older. Well, then I had a distinct pleasure of repeating the second grade. I failed the second grade. How about that? That's fun, right? So now I'm 2 years older than everybody else. I'm in high school. I'm a junior in high school. I'm 5'9", and I bench press 300 pounds. I'm a big kid. When I was in 6th grade, I was 5'9", and I bench pressed 200 pounds. I was not a late bloomer. That's maybe why my hair's all gone. I'm not really sure. It's decided to go away early. I was a big kid, and you know what? I got picked on by the smart kids. Kids get all A's. Where are my all A'ers? All A. Woo! Yes, I hate you. All of you. Dead to me. C's and D's. Woo! Yeah. My people. Stay in school. Graduate. I got picked on by the smart kids. So, because I was so much bigger than everybody else, I pushed them around. I took a little guy one day, put him in a trash can, stuffed him down, snapped that 55-gallon lid on it. Spent the entire lunch in the trash can until somebody decided the other one was full unsnapped and he popped out. I took a young lady by the name of Dee Dee. Back, they used to wear these things, the shorts, but they were suspenders. Horrible things. A buddy of mine grabbed her, opened 2 stand-up wall lockers, and hooked her suspenders. Now, Dee Dee was only about this big. She was a gymnast. She almost made the Olympic team. But she was about this big, and she is between those 2 wall lockers with her hands stuffed in her pockets. Why? You can always figure out why. And the sad part is nobody else helped her down either. She was not my girlfriend at the end of the day. She had been. She did not seem to think that what I did was funny. So I picked on people. I could get you in the playground. I could get you at the bus stop. Now, I'm not proud of that. Unfortunately, I had an encounter with a guy who was bigger than me, a guy by the name of Doug Orr, who eventually played football for the Minnesota Vikings for 5 years as a defensive lineman. Doug and I had a confrontation in the hallway one day. Unfortunately, he got the worst end of the deal, it seemed like at the time. But I ended up in the principal's office. Mr. Parker going, "What are you thinking?" And I'm like, "I don't know." "What am I supposed to do?" I'm like, "I don't know." He goes, "How am I supposed to deal with this?" I was like, "I don't know." He goes, "What do you think Doug's going to do when he wakes up?" And I'm like, "Oh, I know what he's going to do." And he said, "And your dad?" "Yeah, sure about that one too." They equal death, pretty much. But I didn't get along with school. See, I'm dyslexic. For those of you who don't know what that means, I have trouble learning to read and write and even do math. I struggled a lot, and I worked really, really hard. So if I find myself as a junior in high school almost really willing to fail out, because I'd put in all my effort into what I was good at, and that was work, making money. But I also knew that was going to limit my opportunities. So my parents, a whole bunch of teachers, administrators, poured in a significant amount of effort into my life so that I could come under the command of the education system instead of raging against the machine, pushing against everybody who wanted to help me. Just leave me alone. Don't tell me to study harder. I don't need this. Just let me out. Well, I wasn't going to get out without their help. I learned to come under command so that I could be in command of my future. And I managed to graduate. I was 19 and a half years old. because of what I mentioned earlier. And I graduated with a stellar 2.12 GPA. I make the other 95% possible. Thank you. You're welcome. But I had the audacity to apply to one university. Just one. Anybody here ever heard of the University of Arkansas? Yeah? Woo! Yeah, give it up. I did not apply there. I'm just glad you've heard of it, though. It's nice. I applied to one university. I applied to the University of North Georgia. North Georgia has a cadet program in it, and I did not get in there either. But I got a rejection letter, and on that rejection letter was a name and a number of the dean of admissions. I opened it up, and I decided I'd go call him. Because you know what you want is that big envelope, right? The one with the certificate. Now they all come with a bumper sticker. So you can immediately grab your phone and take a selfie. Boop, look where I'm going. Oh, going here too. Oh, going here too. My daughter was like 900 of these. Woo, I did not know she could go to that many schools. Nor my money could go that many places either. But I did not get in, but I called the dean of admissions. And for whatever reasons, that day he actually answered his own telephone. I said, Dean, my name is Fred Grooms. I've received your rejection letter, and I do not accept it. Silence. Dean, no, I heard you. I just don't know how to respond to you. Well, Dean, I've received a rejection letter. I don't accept it. And he goes, son, if you got a rejection letter, you don't meet the criteria for acceptance into this university. I said, Dean, stuck on no. How do we get to yes? He goes, what's your name again? Puts the phone down, and he rifles through some paper. It was still paper back then. He comes back in about 5 minutes. He goes, Mr. Grooms, I found your folder. And right here, stapled to the cover, to the folder, is a cover letter that says, you meet no criteria for acceptance into this university. And I said, stuck on no, how do we get to yes? He said, there is no yes. I said, Dean, don't make a decision about my future based on what's stapled to a folder. At least talk to me. And he said, okay, and I hung up. I mean, I thought maybe he hiccuped. I don't know. It sounded like okay to me. So I got in my car and I drove up to the university, it's an hour and a half away. I got there and I knocked on his door. And he said, Mr. Grooms, welcome. Come in, have a seat on my bright red couch. Why it was bright red, I don't know, but bright red couch. He was ready for me. Mr. Grooms, you meet no criteria for acceptance in it. Stuck on no, how do we get to yes? He goes, there's no yes, you just don't. I said, Dean, you have a developmental studies program. I want in that program. And he looks at me. But he didn't say no. He gets up. And he says, follow me. And we go out the door. He goes upstairs to the head of the department, Dr. Colbert. He goes in the door, and they begin to talk about me. In the open doorway, I'm standing. Like, I'm not invisible. I hear y'all talking about me. A lot of heads going like this. She invites me in, and she starts with, Mr. Grooms, you meet no criteria for acceptance into this program. I'm like, stuck on no. How do we get to yes? And she says, there is no yes for you. And I said, why not? And she looked at me, scowl on her face, and she said, because you won't make it. I put my hands on the desk and said, you want to bet? She looked at me like my hair was on fire. I was pretty sure this little lady was coming over the top of the desk. But she looked over the dean and she said, will the military department take him? And he goes, the military take anybody. Not true, by the way. Don't take just anybody. But on that day, I talked my way into the University of North Georgia. Thank you. And I tell you what, that woman drove me crazy for 4 years. She rode me like nobody's business. If I hiccuped academically, I was in her office. I wanted to run her over with my car. That's not true. I didn't really want to I didn't want to kill her or anything. I just wanted to drive by and wing her with my door. Wham! Knock her down. Just bump her a little bit. I mean, death is bad. They take you to jail for stuff like that. Accidental winging. But I tell you what, because of her effort, the effort of my accounting professor, the effort of my statistics professor, the effort of other counselors and other people in the military department that helped teach me self-discipline and high personal standards, I managed to graduate from the University of North Georgia with a degree in business management. I graduated with a 3.2 GPA, the top third of my class. I earned a commission as an officer in the United States Army. I continued to earn high academic standards and leadership, and now I get to travel around and do this all over the country. All because I was willing to come under command of other people and let them show me the way. And it doesn't matter whether it's academics, it doesn't matter whether it's welding, it doesn't matter if it's shoeing a horse, plowing a field, running a computer, building a video game, working in business management, working in accounting and nursing, doctor, lawyer. There's a process, there's a system. There are people out there that will help you do that. And if you will work with that system, you will progress so rapidly. And if you will be willing to step up, and when you begin to learn something, you begin to teach other people. One of the keys in the military is we always teach the other people what to do. Because the military can be a very dangerous place. If something happens to me, there has to be people who are willing to step up and be in my position. It is my job to train my replacement. Something that the civilian community goes crazy over. What, train my replacement? They'll fire me. Not if you're good at what you do. They'll promote you. See, because you become highly valuable. And when you are highly valuable, you are highly sought after. And that's what we're after. Raise our leadership ability, lead because others won't, so we become highly valuable and highly sought after. Everybody say attitude. Attitude, what you think and how you respond is always within your control. Always. Who here is a grudge holder? Grudge holders, right? Okay, so there are two types of grudge holders in this room. There are this type of grudge holder, and there's this type. Right? It doesn't matter whether you're this type or this type. If you're a grudge holder, you give the power of your attitude away to other people. Why do you do that? Why do you let other people get under your skin? Why do you give the power of your attitude your way? Because your attitude is powerful. It's one of the most powerful things that you have. It is more powerful than your academics, more powerful than your IQ. Grit, perseverance, and tenacity are better measures of your success than anything else. Your attitude. And yet, we have a tendency to give the power of our attitude away to other people. Don't give the power of your attitude away. Also, one of the things that we do is that we have this negative self-talk. See, we don't think we're any good at stuff. I certainly didn't think I was any good at stuff because when I was growing up, the measure of success was sports or academics. Wasn't particularly good at either one of those. And my mom kept saying, but you're good with people. Right? When you're 11, what the heck does that mean? Good with people. All right? I just figured I was able to manipulate people to get stuff done. Is that good? Apparently that's a talent. Served me well later on in life. But when I was 11, good with people means nothing. But we have this negative self-talk and we beat ourselves up and we allow our attitudes to get so pushed down and so negative. And we have to push back beyond that. If we as individuals are going to be able to lead others, you have to become resilient. You have to deal with the things of life because things can be difficult. And that's a great buzzword that we started using now is resiliency. Resiliency used to be all about experience. You just become tougher as you get older just because of experience. And sometimes we've removed a lot of this stuff. They don't let boys be boys anymore. My brother and I used to have fist fights. The only rule was no weapons. Right? So when I busted a lamp over his head, Dad got all angry at me. It wasn't that we were fighting, it was the mom's lamp that I broke. Right? Now, kids start, scuffling and we go, stop, be nice, be nice. And then there's this whole bully thing. Oh, well, we're going to fix the bully. We're going to make the bully nice. No, we're not. There's mean people in the world. Get over it. There's always going to be mean people in the world. You're not going to make mean people nice. They're mean. Seldom does it turn around. I'm one of the few people that went from being a mean person to being a nice person. I mean, it can happen, but you have to deal with the fact that there's just going to be some people who are going to be mean. And you got to deal with it. And you have an attitude, a resiliency, and one that says, I don't have to listen to that person. I don't have to be that person. See, here's the great thing about leadership. Leadership equals followership. One doesn't happen without the other. It does not happen without the other. You can't lead unless you have people who follow you. And you can't work without having that symbiotic relationship. It just has to go together. Leadership equals followership. You need other people to be with you. And when you can do that and you understand that, you're going to go further places. Everybody say skill. Skill. What you do and how well you do it will help determine your future. Everybody's got to have skills. And I believe that there are different levels of skills. And when you have those different levels of skills, there are the knowledge and there's talent and there's just the things that you know how to do, the things that come naturally to you. You have to build those skills up. And as you begin to build those skills up, you again become more valuable. And when you're more valuable, you are more highly sought after. The more things you can do and the better that you can be at them, the better things will go for you. And I believe, as I said, that every person in this room is an expert. Everybody is an expert at something in this room. If you can fix my 22-year-old F-150 pickup truck, you are an expert. You're an expert. Absolutely. Because I can't do it. If you can shoe a horse, you're an expert. Because I can't do it. If you can fix my sprinkler system, which seems to break all the time, you're an expert. If you can correct my emails with my grammar, my misspelling, some experts down here. Right? I'm dyslexic. I said I am the king of the run-on sentence and the comma splice. Can't spell to save my life. Non-spellers? Woo! Isn't it great? Spell check, stuff like that. Editors? Awesome. Except autocorrect when it corrects your spelling and you're so bad at it you don't even realize it's changed the word. Send some text messages that did not go well. Just saying. Right? I mean, you feel that pain. But there's this thing, the expert equation. And how you begin to know that you are an expert. And everybody can figure this out. It's not hard. It's knowledge plus skill plus your natural talent multiplied by your experience and investment. Oh, I left investment out. Oops. And investment equals expertise. Everybody is an expert. Now, what's the real measure of when you're an expert? It's pretty simple. When you know how to do something that you can teach somebody else. There's this thing called the 10,000 hour rule. Malcolm Gladwell. Anybody heard of the 10,000 hour rule? Malcolm Gladwell said that in order to be the expert at something, you had to spend 10,000 hours doing that thing. 10,000 hours. Well, depending on how you break that down, that's somewhere between 4 and 7 years of doing that thing, whatever that thing is. Whether it's playing the piano, whether it's welding, whether it's being a violinist, or anything else. Well, Malcolm Gladwell was wrong. Even Malcolm Gladwell says he is misquoted. If you want to be the top expert at anything in the world, the number one, you're probably going to have to spend 10,000 or more hours doing it. I want my brain surgeon to have spent 10,000 hours studying to be a brain surgeon. You bet. Right? But I do not need you to have spent 10,000 hours to know how to fix my F-150 pickup truck. Doesn't mean you're not an expert. Am I the leadership expert? No. I love no, I'm not. Look up a guy by the name of Malcolm Gladwell. He's written more books than anybody else on the subject. Does it mean that I'm not able to teach leadership and do it in high quality ways? No. Am I expert at it? Yeah. I mean, am I an expert at taking a icing bag and making roses for cakes? You bet, baby. I can crank those suckers out. My mom used to pay me a nickel per two. Right? That didn't sound like a lot, but years ago, she used to decorate wedding cakes, and I used to make all those roses. I was like, I decorated the stinking cake. I made all the roses. But you're an expert. Don't let other people tell you that you're not an expert. And that's what I get so frustrated with, is because there are so many things that you can do, and because of our negative self-bias, we forget how to actually be an expert. And that we are. I want to tell you a story about a private by the name of Sharp. Sharp was anything and everything but sharp. I'd been a commander of a basic training unit for about 2 years, and I thought I'd seen it all. Until my very best drill sergeant, Drill Sergeant Williams, brings me Private Sharp. Stands Sharp in front of me and says, "Send her home." We're 3 weeks in. He'd never given up on any soldier, ever, not one time. Why is he going to send Sharp home? See, she's square peg trying to get into a round hole. And I'm not willing to send her home. See, Private Sharp was 25 years old. That makes her grandma. In the military, the average age is 18. And there are people looking up to her. And she goes, "I never want anybody to look up to me." That was Sir Drill Sergeant Williams' problem. He's got people looking up to this 25-year-old for leadership, and she was not willing to lead. That's why he was willing to get rid of her. So standing in front of my desk, I look at Private Sharp, and with a kind, soft, gentle military voice, I say, "Sharp, what is your malfunction?" And she goes, "Ah!" Woof. She disappears on the floor, crying. Not little tiny tears, but box of Kleenex over the top of the desk. And I exercise an extreme amount of military patience for about a minute and 30 seconds. And then it was, "Sharp, get up! Get control of yourself." See, Private Sharp joined the military to make her dad mad. How'd that work, Sharp? Not so good. She came from a very affluent family in Connecticut. She went to a private girls' school where she was a valedictorian. She was admitted to an Ivy League university where she was asked to leave. She got into the second Ivy League university where she was asked to leave. She had a half a dozen really good jobs because Dad has all these connections, and she was fired from all of them. She became couch buddy at 25 years old. Her friends had graduated. They'd moved on. She didn't know what to do. Dad took her credit card away, so she joined the Army to make him mad. Didn't work. So now she's my problem. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on with Private Sharp. And I say, "Sharp, what's your problem?" She says, "I'm not good at anything." And I felt her pain. I understood. I said, Private Sharp, that's not true. You have 100% on your PT score. 100% push-up, 100% sit-ups, 100% run. No female or male in my unit has ever had 100% on their initial PT test. Do you know how unusual that is? She said, I didn't have any idea. I said, Sharp, what we're going to do is we're going to give you responsibility to working with some of the soldiers that have the worst PT scores to see if you can't get them up. See, she was a crewer. She was a rower. So she knew all about cardiovascular conditioning, all about what it took to build upper body strength, core body strength. We're going to put you in charge of 5 soldiers. What do you think about that, Sharp? She went, no, thank you. I'm like, Sharp, you got to help me out here. We eventually talk her into it. All of a sudden, those scores of those other soldiers started going up in a couple of weeks. Guess what? Sharp started to excel herself. She started to take care of herself. See, Private Sharp, she just needed something else to focus on besides her own negative self-bias. She needed somebody to lead. And that's what I gave her, was somebody to lead. At the end of basic training, she has to pass into the cycle PT test. 100% push-ups, 100% sit-ups. Starts out on the run. She's running slow. I'm like, what the heck? Scream at her. Sharp, pick up the pace. I got this. Sharp, pick up the pace. I've got this. And then it dawned on me what she was doing. She was setting a pace just fast enough to pass, so that everybody else in the unit knew if they kept her behind her, they were in front of her, they would all pass. Everybody passed because Sharp was willing to sacrifice her own PT score for everybody else's score, and we call that leadership. I promoted Private Sharp at the end of that cycle. I sent her off into the world. 3 years later, I'm leaving my office, going down the sidewalk. Up comes the sidewalk is this soldier in brand new dress blue uniform. Walks up, looking sharp, stops, salutes. Captain Grooms, may I have a word? I look down at the name tag and I'm like, Private Sharp! And she goes, Lieutenant Sharp, get it right, sir. My bad. I was like, I thought all you wanted to do was go home. She says, oh, I still want to go home. I just figured the military had a whole lot more to teach me. She'd become an officer because she was willing to step up and lead because others won't. Everybody say integrity. Integrity. What you believe is right and true determines your character. Now, I can't tell you a lot about integrity in the time that we have left, but here's the thing. I want you to go 3 and 5. Stick them out there, 3 and 5. Okay, I know I confused somebody. 5 and 3, the dyslexic for me, all right? All right? Turn them around and think about the 3 to 5 people you spend the very most time with. Who are the 3 to 5 people you spend the most time with? And then ask yourself this question. Do you want to be like them? Is that somebody that you would let babysit your little sister? Would you give them the keys to your car and let them borrow it? Would you give them $500 on Friday and expect to get it back on Monday? No? Y'all need to find some new friends. Dang. No? Here's the thing. I didn't say it. Science says it. You are most like the 3 to 5 people you spend the most time with. If those are people you do not want to spend time with, you would not trust with your secrets, you would not give money or let babysit your sister, you're like that. They don't think that about you either. We can laugh about it. Who are you deep down inside? Are you trustworthy? I just told a little lie. Doesn't make me a liar. Yes, it does. I just took a little cash out of the cash box at work, stole 20 out of my mom's purse. Doesn't make me a thief. Makes you a thief. Just because I was mean to her on text doesn't make me a bully. It makes you a bully. Stop. Think about who you want to be and be that person. Because you can do that. Everybody say choice. 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 What you choose affects your future. Simple as that. We all make quality choices and we all make bad choices. There's this thing called anchor points, and tomorrow I'm going to dive deeper into all the elements of basic in a workshop where we're going to have fun. We're going to play some games. I'm going to have some prizes, some free stuff, so come by, check that out. But we all make choices, and one of the big things is our anchor points. We don't realize that anchor points keep us locked into very specific spots. Whether it's geographic, more people join the military that have family in the military. More people become pastors whose fathers and mothers are pastors. Doctors, lawyers, welders, farmers. It's a cycle. It's called an anchor point. We're comfortable where we are. And that can be good and it can be bad as well. Who here has ever used these words? My mom is going to kill me. My dad owns a shovel, and I'm pretty sure he's willing to bury me in the backyard. Well, guess what? It's a good thing that statement's not true, or on Monday morning there'd be dead teenagers everywhere. We wouldn't have a leadership problem. We'd have a population problem. Plus, there'd be all these little mounds that everybody would wonder, what is that little mound in the backyard? See, the thing is, we all make bad choices. Most of them don't end our lives. They're not terminal. We have to learn to rebound from the choices that we make. We need to figure out and understand that experience is the leading reason we make bad choices. See, our society has made asking for assistance a negative thing. Somehow it's bad to ask for help. Here's the thing, asking for help is brilliant. It's absolute brilliance. If you don't know how to do something, go ask somebody else. You want to be an expert at somebody? Find somebody who's doing that thing well and ask them to show you how to do it. That's how you get to be an expert, something that you want to be an expert at. You can do these things. You can rebound from your poor choices. You don't have to stay in a level of despair. You can move beyond that. I want everybody here to know that you don't have to listen to the negative self-bias in your head. You don't have to be the person that allows other people to bring you down. You can be the person that lifts people up. You are an expert. You have something to offer, every single one of you. I want you to learn to stand up and lead because others won't. To take on that responsibility. To think when people go 3 to 5 and they think of you as like, I want to be like that person. You guys can do that. You can stand up. You can be the person that you were meant to be. You are uniquely and individually talented. You can be successful. You have it in you. You have to make the choice. Miss America said the same thing. I just took 45 minutes to do it. And I'm not nearly as pretty as she is. But I'm going to, tomorrow in workshop, we're going to dive deeper into BASIC, the Student Leadership Field Manual. This is Leaders Marching Forward, the Advanced Student Leadership Field Manual. We'll talk about many of things in here, how to build teams, what to do, what not to do. These are both out in the hallway there. You can pick one of those up or both of those up if you'd like. If you're interested in understanding how to identify your natural talents, what you're good at, Who's in Charge of Bob is a great book. We focus a lot of time on trying to figure out how to fix what's broken about us. We need to learn to manage them and then spend way more time figuring out what it is we're good at. Everybody out there, this is free. It's the card that says BASIC. Stop by and get one of those. I also have these cool t-shirts right here, and they say, lead because others won't. Awesome. They're available. Here's something that is really cool. It's called a command coin. It's something we do in the military. And what we do is we give these as a token of appreciation. In my particular case, I've made these as keepsakes. They're actually made out of what same thing high-end poker chips are made out of. They're super cool. They have BASIC and all the stuff over there, and they are available as well. And as we close, I want to again remind you that everybody in here is good at stuff. You are a strong person. You are worthy of respect. You are strong enough to succeed. You can take command of yourself so that you can command other people. You are a leader, so lead wisely. Treat others with respect. Now, I want you to do a favor for me. I want you to put your hand in the air. If you heard something, well, that's awesome. Everybody put your hand in the air. Now, Now, I'm going to ask a question. Put your hand in the air if you heard something that you never heard before ever in your life today. Put your hand in the air if you heard something that you have heard before but you just needed a reminder. That's awesome. Almost everybody's hand in the air. Put your hand in the air if you want me to shut up and get off the stage. Awesome. Everybody's hand is now in the air. What I want you to do is I want you to now stand, and we're going to end the same very way that we started with a leaders time march. Arkansas 4-H. Forward. Push. Left, 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 right, left, right, left, right, left. Here we go all the way. Here we go all the way. Ready to go every day. Ready to go all the way. Leadership's the life for me. Leadership's the life for me. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Give yourself a big round of applause. I will be out in the hallway if you want to come see me.
Thank you so much, Mr. Grooms, for coming to speak to us today. Let's give Mr. Grooms another huge round of applause. Before we adjourn, so glad that y'all were telling me that he was sneaking behind me. Okay, before we adjourn, we have a few announcements to make. First, breakfast is from 6:30 to 8:30 tomorrow morning in the Fulbright cafeteria. Your name badge that is around your neck right now is required to eat, so please bring that. The buses that will take you to your competitive events off campus will depart at 7:30 sharp, so do not be late because we don't want you to get left. On Thursday, that's on Thursday, and they will be leaving from Lot 42 behind Maple Hill and Reed Halls. Also, this is very, very important. Okay, so Miss America's here. Obviously, I'm excited about it, but we get pictures with her. So, in order for that to work, we all have to pay attention. So, this door, that's to my left, but your right. Everybody see that? That door. Oh, Michael, raise your hand. Yes! Hello, that is Michael Chaney, ladies and gentlemen. He will lead you the way to Miss America. So, also, side note, before we adjourn, there is no selfies and no autographs for Miss America. So sorry, no selfies, no autographs. Okay, you are adjourned. Have a fantastic night at County Night Out.